discussing the first two paths, that is Samadhi path and Sadhan path. Now from today we are going to start Vibhuti path, which is the third path out of the four paths stated by Patanjali Rishi. Now, in the previous path, that is Sadhan path, Patanjali Rishi told us about Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga means there are 8 limbs. Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. These are the 8 limbs. Ashtanga Yoga. Out of that, then he bifurcated it as Bahiranga Yoga, which he described in Sadhan path, which was Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, and Pratyahar. And there that Sadhan path, it ended. In Vibhuti Paad, the first sutra, it starts with the Antaranga Yoga. Antaranga Yoga means what? Antaranga Yoga means where we are focusing on ourselves. We are trying to look or work on ourselves from within. It is more of an internal progress or development that we are working on. Till now, Bahiranga Yoga, Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, and Pratyahar, they were Bahiranga Yoga. That means we were working on the external stuff. Now from here, Antaranga Yoga starts. So what is Antaranga Yoga? Work that is done on our chitta. That is Antaranga Yoga. So Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, all these three are called as Antaranga Yoga. Because in this, we are working on our mind, on our chitta. So the first sutra of Vibhuti Pad is Desha Bandhash Chittasya Dharana. So here the definition of dharana is stated. What is dharana? So desha means any object or alamban on which you focus. Desha bandhash chittasya dharana. That means a alamban or an object on which you focus your mind completely. That is called as dharana. So when we are focusing our mind or chitta on one particular object, that is called as dharana. For example, you can take an alamban or the object as a picture of any deity that you want, or any murti, an idol, or any picture you can take, like Om, Ganpati, or any picture which is positive, which will help you in practicing your dharana. And on that picture or on that idol, you have to focus your entire attention. And one by one, you have to bring all your senses on like focus on one single point. That is that object. For example, now you have taken a picture of, suppose let's assume Ganpati. It is in a frame, it is in front of you. So when you sit for dharana, what do? You are chanting, you are looking with your eyes, you are looking at the picture. With your ears, you are listening to the chant, the mantra of Ganpati. With your lips, you are chanting that mantra. So here what happens that we are trying to engage all the senses on one thing. Then as you practice dharana, you will shut off one uh, object, one sense. That is, you will stop the music and you will only keep chanting and looking at the picture. Then after some time, when you have practiced thoroughly, then after some time what you will do, you will stop chanting also and you'll keep looking at the picture. Then after some time, you will close your eyes and look at the picture in your mind with your eyes closed. So all your senses you have shut off one by one. And now you have taken that idol, that picture within you, and you're focusing on it internally. So that is dharana. Then next sutra is Tatra Pratyaya Ekatanata Dhyanam. So when you practice dharana, then the next antaranga, the next step is dhyan. So from dharana, we move on to dhyan. So what is dhyan? Tatra Pratyaya ekatanata dhyanam. That means wherever the practice of dharana has been performed, the continuous uniform flow of that knowledge or the steadiness of the mental modification at that place is called as dhyana. Now, let me explain it to you. Yes, you are sitting for dharana. You're focusing your complete attention on one idol or one picture. Now, here what is said, the continuous uniform flow of knowledge, the unbroken flow of knowledge or jnana is dhyana. That means, suppose when you're looking at the picture of Ganpati, let's take the same example. When you're looking at it, initially you will see the wall on which it is. Then you will see the frame also, the color of the frame, the design of the whatever design is there, the engraving on the frame. You will see the background color of that on which Ganpati, the picture of Ganpati is there. Then you will see the different, mm, like the colors that are there in Ganpati. You will see his legs, his arms, his face, his body, the jewelry that he is wearing. So you will see everything. Then, as you practice dharana, from your attention or your concentration from gross will go to subtle. Means initially you will see all these things. Then gradually, as you move on to dhyan, what will happen? You will stop seeing the wall. You will stop seeing the frame, the background color. Okay. Then the jewelry, then his limbs. And then whatever is your subtle focus, the sukshma point, maybe it is the eyes of Ganpati, you will only see the eyes. Nothing else will be visible. Only the eyes of Bhagwan Ganpati. That will only be the point of focus. So that is dhyan, and you're continuously looking at it. Unbroken flow of concentration. So here, for example, I've given the flow of oil. If you see, if you see the flow of oil, it is very smooth, very smooth. It is a continuous flow. Similarly, dhyan is a continuous flow. If we try to pour the oil, we pour it, stop, pour it, we stop it, we pour it, we stop it, then it is dharana. So you are practicing, again, you're getting distracted. You're practicing, there are a lot of distractions. But in dhyan, it is like the smooth flow of oil, that it is flowing very smoothly. There is no stoppage or no breaking points in between. That is dhyana. Now, here, the knower, the knowledge, and the knowing object, all three exist. So, suppose I am practicing dhyan. So, I am the presence, I am there, the object is there, and the knowledge that I am meditating, I'm concentrating, I'm focusing on that object. All these three exist. So, the meditator, the meditation, and the object of meditation, all these three things, they exist when you're practicing dhyan. Remember this, because this is very important for the next sutras. Then in the next sutra, tadeva arthamatra nirbhasam swarupa shunya eva samadhihi. Tadeva arthamatra nirbhasam. Now, when a yogi forgets his own self and becomes completely absorbed only in the object of meditation, then that special state or special state of the yogi established in yoga is called as samadhi. Now, here what is samadhi is told. We understood what is dharana, then dhyan, and now Patanjali Rishi is explaining what is samadhi. So, what is samadhi? In samadhi is saying that the yogi, the meditator, he forgets his own self. In dhyan, the the meditator, he knew that he is meditating. That was there. His presence was there. But in samadhi, what happens? The yogi, the meditator, he forgets his own existence and he completely gets absorbed in the object of meditation. He becomes one with that object. So in Dhyan, just like here, I have mentioned that the knower, knowledge, and knowing the object, all three exist. Here in Samadhi, what happens? That the knower becomes one with the object. So the identity of the knower is it doesn't exist. So Samadhi is the state in which only the essence of the object shines forth, as if devoid of the meditator's own self. So here, that eva artha matra nirbhasam. So only the essence remains. The existence of the meditator, it is removed. It doesn't exist. It is only the essence. Svarupa Shunya. His Svarup, his existence becomes Shunya. And only the essence of the meditation, it remains. Only the essence of the object, it remains. So the first stage is dharana, where the mind focuses on the object. Then distractions are there. As I told you, the oil, it is flowing, but it break. It's not a smooth flow. There are breaks in the middle. So distractions may occur. So when you're practicing dharana, it could be that you think, oh, I have to go there, I have to cook, I have to do this. So distractions may occur. Or you may hear a sound and your attention might go, oh, what sound it is, from where is it coming? So these distractions are there in dharana. Ego or self, that means the meditator is aware that he is meditating. So awareness of self is also there. For example, counting the breath or focusing on the flame. So when we are counting the breath, when you're sitting quietly, still, and when we are counting our breath, we know I exist. Okay. So these are the examples. Then in Dhyan, what happens? Continuous uninterrupted focus. So the distraction that was here in dharana, that has reduced. Now there is continuous uninterrupted focus. So there are no distractions. There are no interruptions. Smooth flow of oil. The mind is not wandering. The mind is not wavering. The mind is not running after the senses. So the fourth sutra is Trayam Ekatra Sanyamaha. Trayam. Trayam means three. Ekatra means together. Sanyam. So these three together are called as Sanyam. These three means what? Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. All these three together, they are called as Sanyam. That is what Patanjali Rishi is telling over here. So when you practice Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi, all these three, then it is called as Sanyam. So in exam, it is asked, what is Sanyam? And they give you the options. So you have to remember, you have to know this. That Sanyam means Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. These three are called as Sanyam. Then, what is the fruit of Sanyam? That he has told in the next sutra, that is 3.5. Tajjat Pradnya Alokaha. So what is Sanyam? What is the fruit of Sanyam? So when we practice Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi, all these three, then we attain wisdom. We are illuminated by higher knowledge, which Patanjali Rishi has called as Pragya Aloka. So when we practice Sanyam, then we are benefited or we attain Pragya Aloka. Pragya Aloka means the light of transcendental wisdom, a special kind of wisdom, a higher knowledge. So the yogi, the practitioner, he is illuminated by transcendental wisdom, that is Pragya Aloka. So for example, you have to remember what is the fruit of Sanyam? Pragya Aloka. Next is Tasya Bhumishu Viniyogaha. Tasya means Sanyam. Now here is again talking about Sanyam. Tasya Bhumishu Viniyogaha. So the application of Sanyam should be performed on the different stages or levels of yoga. One should practice Sayam on the gross stages and then gradually progress to the subtler stages. So now here Patanjali Rishi is saying that when you're practicing Dharana Dhyan Samadhi, now if I decide, I suppose I am not practicing yoga, and today suddenly if I decide, okay, I am going to practice Sayam, now I will close my eyes and I will visualize a particular thing, maybe Om. Let's assume Om. And I have to visualize it and practice Sayam on it. Will it be possible? It will not be possible. Why? Because we do not have the practice. We don't have that kind of experience, that practice, that control over the senses. We don't have the control on our chitta, on our mind. So our senses, our mind will run here and there, and we will not be able to practice Sayam. So here what Patanjali Rishi is saying, that when you're practicing Sayam, first practice on the gross object. That means practice Sayam on the physical object, either on a picture or on an idol. Take something, take some alamban, some object for Sayam. First practice on it. Let it be in front of your eyes. And when you have control on your senses, on your chitta, and when you're able to practice Sayam on that, then gradually move on to subtler objects. That is, then sukshma or subtle objects. Then you will reach a stage where no matter where you are, even if you are in a crowded place, there is a lot of music, there are people talking everywhere, still you will be able to meditate. Nothing will distract you. No voice, no sound, no noise will distract you. But to attain that level, first you have to practice on the gross level. That means on the object. Then in the next sutra, Trayam Antarangam Purvebhyaha. That means here Patanjali Rishi is saying that in Sadhan Path, when Patanjali Rishi told about the 8 limbs of yoga, that is Ashtanga, he described the first 5 limbs, that is Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, and Pratyahar. He described these first 5 limbs as Bahiranga Yoga. He said they are Bahiranga because we are working on the external stuff. Now he has described these 5, and compared to these 5, the next 5 limbs, that is Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi, he said that these are Antaranga Yoga. Why Antaranga? Because we are working on the Chitta. We are working on our cells, on our mind. So it is more of an internal work. Hence it is called as Antaranga. Antaranga means internal, inwarded. So compared to these 5, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, they are Antaranga. But a yogi, okay, a yogi, here it is said that Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, for an yogi who is practicing Sabija Samadhi or Sampradnyata Samadhi, for him, these 3 are Antaranga Yoga. So for Sabija Samadhi or Asampradnyat Samadhi, Dharana Dhyan Samadhi, they are Antaranga Yoga. And then he's saying that further, for Nirbija Samadhi, when a yogi is practicing Nirbija Samadhi, it is Dharana Dhyan Samadhi is Bahiranga Yoga or Nirbija Samadhi. So from exam point of view, you have to remember this because there is a minute difference here. Dharana Dhyan Samadhi are Antaranga Yoga of Sabija Samadhi or Sampradnyat Samadhi. And same, Dharana Dhyan Samadhi, they are Bahiranga Yoga of Nirbija Samadhi or Asampradnyat Samadhi. In exam, they do ask it, so you have to remember it in that way. So here, see, Tad api Bahirangam Nirbijasya. So here what is said? Trayam Antarangam Purvebhyaha. So Dharana Dhyan Samadhi are Antaranga Yoga of Sabija Samadhi. And here it is said that धारणा ध्यान समाधि, they are बहिरंग योग और निर्बीज समाधि और असंप्रज्ञात समाधि. Nirbija Samadhi means bija, means seed or any object or any alapan. Nirbija means there is no bij left. That is Nirbija Samadhi. So for Nirbija Samadhi, Dharana Dhyan Samadhi are Bahiranga. For Sabija Samadhi, Dharana Dhyan Samadhi, they are Antaranga. Very important from exam point of view. Next is Chitta ke Parinam, that is effects of Chitta. Now, Patanjali Rishi here has said that there are three effects of Chitta. There are three effects of Chitta के तीन परिणाम हैं. Which are these three परिणाम? Nirodha, Samadhi and Ekagrata parinam. These are the three parinam or transformations or effects of Chitta. So let's see what is Nirodha parinam first. What is Nirodha parinam? Sorry. व्युत्थान निरोध संस्कारयोः अभिभव प्रादुर्भावो निरोध क्षण चित्तान्वयो निरोध परिणाम. So व्युत्थान संस्कार. So what व्युत्थान संस्कार? Vyuthana means what? The sanskar that are there in us, wherein our mind is running here and there, distracted mind. Kshipta, vikshipta, moodha. All these three are vyuthana state of mind. So here in Nirodha Parinam, what happens? Vyuthana Sanskar, they are suppressed. So Vyuthana Sanskar, Abhibhav. Abhibhav means suppressed. Vyuthana Sanskar are suppressed. And Nirodha Sanskar. What happens to Nirodha Sanskar? Nirodha Sanskar are developed. Pradurbhav. Pradurbhav means developed. So in Nirodha Parinam, what happens? Vyuthana Sanskar are suppressed and Nirodha Sanskar, they are developed. That is called as Nirodha Parinam. So at the time of the state of Chitta Nirodha, what means Nirodha Parinam? The mind is associated with both types of impressions. They have Vyuthana also and Nirodha also. But Vyuthana Sanskar here, they are decreasing. And Nirodha Parinam, okay, they are increasing, they are developed. And this is referred to as Nirodha Parinam. The mind is associated with both the types of impressions, that is those of Vyuthan, that is mental distractions, and Nirodha Parinam, that is Nirodha Parinam, that means decrease the control on our senses, control on our chitta, they are increasing. So here Vyuthana sanskars are suppressed and Nirodha sanskars, they are developed. Then what is the result of Nirodha Parinam? Tasya prashanta vahita sanskarat. That means when you practice Nirodha Parinam, then what happens? The mind, our chitta, it becomes tranquil. It becomes very calm. It's a very blissful feeling. Your mind, it attains tranquility. Of the mind, it calms down. It flows smoothly. It is effortlessly in a very blissful state. That is called as Tasya Prashanta Vahita Sanskarat. So what is the fruit of Nirodha Parinam if it is asked in the exam? Then the fruit of Nirodha Parinam is Prashanta Vahita. Prashanta Vahita is the fruit of Nirodha Parinam. Then next, 3.11, Sarvarthata Ekagrata Kshayoho. Sarvarthata Ekagratayoho Kshayo Uddayo Chittasya Ekagrata Parinama. Sarvarthata. Sarvarthata means everywhere. The mind is running everywhere. A chitta is running everywhere. So Sarvarthata Kshaya. So Sarvarthata is destroyed And ekagrata, that means one pointedness. Udayo, that means it is increased. So when sarvarthata is destroyed, that means our mind that is running here and there, that is decreased or suppressed or destroyed. Ekagrata, that means one pointedness is increased. That transformation, that parinam of the chitta is called as samadhi parinam. Now remember what happened in Nirodha Parinam? In Nirodha Parinam, Vyuthana Sanskar were suppressed and Nirodha Parinam were developed. That was Nirodha Parinam. In Samadhi Parinam, Sarvarthata are destroyed and Ekagrata or one pointedness that is developed. That is Samadhi Parinam. Then what happens to what happens in Ekagrata Parinam? Tataha punaha shanta uditau tulya pratyayo चित्तस्य एकाग्रता परिणामः ततः पुनः then again shanta udita shanta shanta means past udita means present tulya pratyayo tulya means they are the same. That means that whatever was there previously in the past, whatever is there in the present, both are the same. After the samadhi result of the mind, that means after samadhi parinam, when the previous knowledge related to an object or the meditative focus becomes calm, and then the same type of knowledge arises again. It is called as ekagrata parinam or one pointed concentration. Now, let me give an example over here. I am thinking about something at this second. Okay. Now, whatever I'm thinking now and whatever I'm going to think the next second, it is different. And what I was thinking 5 minutes back, that was something else. So my thoughts in past were different, present are different, and future it will be different. Okay. Now in Ekagrata Paranam, what happens? My thoughts or gyan or knowledge, whatever I was thinking or meditating on 5 minutes back was same. And now at this moment also, I'm meditating, I'm concentrating, I'm thinking about the same thing. Then the next second that has come, that time also I'm thinking about the same thing. Again, the next second that has come, I'm thinking about the same thing. So with every passing moment, I'm thinking about the same thing. My thoughts are not changing. That means past. And udita, that means whatever was in the past, I was thinking. And udita means present. Both are same. That is called as ekagrata parinam. Again, we will revise in short again. Nirodha parinam. In Nirodha parinam, what happens? Vyuthan sanskar are suppressed. Nirodha sanskar are developed. What is the fruit of Nirodha parinam? Prashanta Vahita. That means our mind becomes tranquil. Then Samadhi Parinam. In Samadhi Parinam, what happens? Sarvarthata Kshay. Sarvarthata is destroyed. Ekagrata Uday. That means one pointedness, it increases. So here also, something is decreasing and something is increasing. Okay. But in Ekagrata Parinam, what happens? Both are the same. Nothing is decreasing and nothing is increasing. Shanta Udito, the past and the present, both are the same. That is Ekagrata Parina. Whatever was there in the past, whatever thoughts were there, whatever knowledge was there in the past, the same is there now also. So it is a smooth flow of thoughts. Only one. The mind is focused only on one thing, and only the thought of one thing is there in the mind. That is called as Ekagrata Parina. Then एतेन भूत इंद्रियेषु धर्म लक्षण अवस्था परिणामा व्याख्याता. एतेन bhuta indriyeshu. Bhuta means Panchamahabhut. Indriya means our senses. Dharma, Lakshan, Avastha, Parinam. So, previously in the sutras, we studied the Parinam of Chitta. Chitta ke Parinam. Chitta ke Parinam, what were the transformations of the Chitta? There were three. Nirodha Parinam, Samadhi Parinam, and Ekagrata Parinam. These were the transformations or parinam of chitta. Now, here from 3.13, Patanjali Rishi is telling us about the parinam, the transformations that take place in Panchamahabhut and Indriya. Don't get confused in exam. Chitta parinam are different and parinam of Panchamahabhut and Indriya are different. Here, in this sutra and from this sutra, we are going to study the parinam of Panchamahabhut and Indriya, that is senses. And what are the parinam of Panchamahabhut and senses? They are again three: Dharma, Lakshan, and Avastha parinam. So, Dharma parinam, Lakshan parinam, and Avastha parinam. These are the three parinam of Panchamahabhut and Indriya. So if in exam it is asked, what are the transformations or parinama of chitta? You will say Nirodha, Samadhi and Ekagrata. If in exam it is asked, what are the parinam or transformations of Pancha Mahabhut and senses? Then you will say Dharma, Lakshan and Avastha. Please don't get confused in this. Very, very important from exam point of view. Now, what is Dharma? What is Lakshan? And what is Avastha? Now, Dharma. Dharma parinam means the transformation in quality, or we can say the transformation in guna or attributes of a person. So, when in Ekagra Chitta, one pointedness or Ekagrata is the Dharma. Now, for example, a teacher. Now, I am teaching. So, when I am teaching, what is my Dharma? My Dharma is that of a teacher. When I am with my kids, my dharma is different. My dharma then is of a mother. When I am with my husband, what is my dharma? My dharma is of a wife. When I am with my friends, what is my dharma? My dharma is that of a friend. So similarly, dharma means what? The quality. This keeps on differing. It varies. That is dharma. Then is lakshan. What is lakshan? Now here for lakshan, I have given a simple example over here. Now, when a chitta, lakshan means what? Any change that is taking place. That is called as actually lakshana. So a chitta, initially it is in vyuthana state. It is very distracted. Raja and tamaguna, they are dominant. Then gradually as we practice yoga, what happens? A chitta, it calms down. A chitta, it calms down. And when a chitta, it calms down, it leads to samadhi. We attain samadhi. So what is the lakshan over here? What is the lakshan? Is samadhi. The lakshan parinam of the chitta is samadhi. Initially, what was the dharma of the chitta? The dharma of the chitta is vyuthana and nirodha. This is the dharma. It is either in vyuthana chitta or sanskar, or it is in nirodha state. Now that is the dharma. So when we practice yoga, when we practice nirodha, then what happens? Our mind calms down and it attains samadhi. So the lakshan changed from vyuthana nirodha. It has become calm, and the change that has taken place is the chitta. It has led to samadhi. Chitta is calm. So samadhi is the lakshan. Then in samadhi, what happens? The chitta becomes ekagra. And that ekagra, the state of ekagrata, where the chitta is in ekagra state, that is the avastha of the chitta. So that is dharma, lakshan, and avastha. Here again I have given you another example. Gold. Goldness, the goldness in the gold, that is its dharma. Then if you make suppose if I have gold, then I take it to a jeweler and I make bangles or I make earrings or I make necklace. Then what happens? The goldsmith will have to carve it, transform it. So then the lakshan, what the necklace in which it is molded, if it is necklace or bangles, that is the lakshan parinam. It has changed. So that gold has now changed into a necklace. So that is the lakshan. Now the newness in that gold, that is the avastha. If it is in a new state or it is old, that is the avastha parinam. Now, what are the result of these three parinams? What is the result of it? Shanta udita avyapadesha dharmanupati dharmi. Now here dharmi, a new word, dharmi. What is dharmi? Let's understand first. So in the past, present and future, properties of any substance, the one essence that always remains constant is called the dharmi. So what is dharmi? When in an object, a certain thing, when it is constant, no matter it was 50 years ago, today, or 50 years from now, the thing is constant. It is the same. There is no change in it. That is dharmi. That means something that is unchangeable, that is constant. That is called as dharmi. So, our chitta is dharmi because chitta, it remains the same. Sorry. So, chitta is called the dharmi, and the sanskars in it is called the dharma. So dharma are sanskars from vyuthana to nirodha to vyuthana to ekagra and everything. So dharma our sanskar keeps on changing. But our chitta, that is the same. It remains the same. The sanskars on the chitta, they will keep on changing. So chitta is the dharmi, which is constant. The sanskars on that chitta, which are changing, they are called as dharma. Here I have given an example. For example, mango. If you see mango, fruit. Okay, the fruit mango is dharmi. Now, what is the dharma then in mango? If you take a raw mango, I bought it from a fruit seller. It is raw. So when it is raw, the color of the mango, the taste of the mango, when I'm holding it in my hand, okay, the feel of that mango is different. Then as this mango ripens, what happens? The color will change, then the taste will also change. When I'm holding it in the hand, I can feel that difference. Raw mango is different and a ripe mango is different. So this change that has taken place in the mango, that is the dharma because it is changing. And what is constant in it? Mango. Mango is constant. So that is dharmi. And the dharma that is there in mango, that is changing. That means the color is the dharma, the taste is the dharma, the feel of the mango is dharma. That is changing. Here I have given another example. Three types of dharma exist in a dharmi. Shanta, Udita, Avyapadesha. Shanta means past, whatever has already happened. Now, if you take me, okay, now, whatever has happened in the past in my life, everything still exists in me. Even though it has occurred in the past, that past is still there in me. This is called as Shanta. Udita means today. This me that you're seeing, that is also there. And Avyapadesh, that means the old age which has not yet come. that is also still there in me. It has not yet come. It is still yet to come, but still it is there in me. So here Patanjali Rishi is saying that Shanta Udita Avyapadesha, all these three things, okay, here in the sutra is saying Shanta Udita Avyapadesha Dharma Anupati Dharmi. These three things, they exist in a dharmi. Then in the next sutra, Kramanyatvam Parinamanyatve Hetuhu. Kram Anyatvam. Kram means the sequence. Anyatvam means changes. Parinama, that means the result. Anyatve also changes. So if you change the sequence, of a thing, the parinam also, the result also changes. For example, from milk, okay, you can make dahi, you can make, that is curd, you can make paneer, okay, you can make kheer, you can make mithai. So depending on what process you follow, the result will be different. Now, for example, if I study for NET, I will clear NET exam. If I don't study, what will happen? What will be the result? I will not clear the exam. So whatever is the kram, whatever is the sequence, as per that, you will get the result. So for example, from cotton also, from cotton, you can prepare a thread. From cotton, you prepare a wick also. And from cotton, you prepare a cloth also. So the result are different depending upon the process. What sequence you follow, you will get the result. That is what is told over here. Kram anyatvam. If you change the process, the result will also change. Then, now, different types of vibhutis they start from here. So this path, it is called as Vibhuti path. So when a yogi, he practices yoga, he practices whatever has been told by Patanjali Rishi here. Then he says that the yogi is blessed with different vibhutis. So what are these vibhutis? Parinamatraya sanyamat atita anagatam. Parinamatraya. Now, by practicing sanyam on the three transformations of any object, that is dharma, lakshana, and avastha. Knowledge of the past and future states of that object is attained. Now tell me, dharma, lakshana, avastha, these parinam, they are parinam of chitta or parinam of panchamahabhut and senses. They are parinam of panchamahabhut and senses. Dharma, lakshana, avastha, they are the transformations, they are the parinam of panchamahabhut and senses. And what are the parinam of chitta? They are nirodha, samadhi, and ekagrata parinam. So here it is said that when you practice sanyam on dharma, lakshan, and avastha, then what does the yogi attain? He gains the knowledge of past and future. So he will know whatever has happened in the past and he will know the future also. Now, for example, I have given here a mom and a child. The mother, she knows the child so well. She has done so much of study on her child. She is so attached to the child that she notices each and everything about the child. For example, if the child comes from the school and his clothes are messed up with dirt, his pocket is torn, okay, he's got bruises on his cheeks, on his elbows, just looking at him, the mother will understand that he had a fight in the school and my child was beaten. She will not think that my child fought with someone. No. She will come to the conclusion that someone has beaten my child. By looking at the child, she comes to the conclusion. Looking at his avastha, the lakshan, that my child's clothes are torn, he is bleeding, he is bruised. There was a fight. Now, in that fight, who with whom she knows her child. She knows the dharma of the child, the quality of the child, that my child is not a violent kid. My child never picks up the fight. My child is a very quiet child. He's not a child who is aggressive or who will fight. He's a very understanding child. So because she knows her child so well, she, without knowing what happened in the school, she wasn't there in the school, but still she will know, okay, so there was a fight in the school and my child is hurt. And future also she knows about the child, that my child is emotionally very disturbed. So what do I have to do as a mom? She knows that, and she will act accordingly. So here Patanjali Rishi is saying that when a yogi practices Sanyam on Dharma, Lakshan and Avastha, he knows the knowledge of the past and the future. Now from here, what you have to do is, all the Vibhutis have been told. So make two columns. One column for what the yogi practices, and in front of that, in the next column, write the Vibhutis. So here, when from this sutra, you will say Parinamatraya Sanyama. Parinamatraya, and in the right column, Atita Anagata Jnanam. So when Parinamatraya, what is the result? Atita Anagata Jnanam. This is very, very important from exam point of view. You should know all these sutras by heart. And this table will help you a lot. Next is शब्द अर्थ प्रत्ययानाम इतरेतर अध्यासात संग्रह तत्प्रविभाग संयमात सर्वभूत रुत ज्ञानम. That means because of the connection between the word, its meaning, and the knowledge associated with it, they appear to be blended, mixed together as one. By practicing Sanyam on their distinction, the knowledge of the speech of all beings is attained. Maharshi states that the knowledge of any knowable object or entity, it passes through the three stages. So how do we attain the knowledge? How do we attain the knowledge, or how do we know about a particular object? We attain that knowledge through three stages. First is Shabda. Now, for example, cow. Okay. When I say cow, that word, when I say, what happens? You understand I'm talking about a four-legged animal. Okay. Then she has a tail. This is this color, this, what it eats, and everything. So you know the meaning of it as soon as I utter that word. Then the word, when I say, you get that picture also in front of you in your mind, that okay, this is how a cow looks. And then cow gives us milk. What does she eat? Where does she live? So all this knowledge about the cow is also attained. So this shabda, artha and pratyaya, this takes place so fast that we don't even realize that these are three different things. It happens in a fraction of a second. So they are deeply interconnected. So because of the connection between the word, its meaning, and the knowledge, they appear to be blended together as one. We feel it is only one only because we think so fast. Now, here he is saying that by practice and Sanyam on their distinction, the knowledge of the the knowledge of the speech of all beings is obtained. So, when we practice Sanyam on their distinction, that means when we practice Sanyam on Shabda, Artha, Pratyanam, Pravibhaga, Adhyasat Sangraha, Tat Pravibhaga Sanyamat. Pravibhaga means distinction. When we practice Sanyam on these things separately, Shabda separately, Artha separately, Pratyaya separately. When we practice Sanyam on these separately, then what happens? Sarva Bhuta Ruta Jnanam. We are able to understand the speech of all the beings. Now here again I have given you an example. When the dog barks, only the owner knows what it wants. Why only the owner knows? Because he knows his dog. He knows what his barking means, whether he has to go out and lighten himself, or he is hungry, or he wants water, or he is agitated, whatever it is, only the owner knows. Why? Because he has practiced that sanyam and he knows the speech of his dog. He knows this bark is for what. Similarly, when the baby cries, only a mother knows whether the baby is hungry, or the baby has done potty, or the baby is in pain, whatever it is. Only the mother knows. So similarly, Shabda Artha Pratyaya, when you practice Sanyam on these separately, the yogi will attain the knowledge, or he will understand the speech of all the living things. Next, Samskara Sakshatkarana Purvajati Jnanam. Samskara Sakshatkarana. Samskara means the impressions. By practicing Sanyam on his impression, that is, subtle mental formations, the yogi attains the knowledge of his past birth. So when he practices Sanyam on his subtle impressions, whatever are his sanskars, the past sanskars, when he practices Sanyam on that, what happens? He attains the knowledge of all the past birth, whatever has happened in his past, even the births that are, 1 or 2 ages back. He knows that also. Here I've given you a simple example that a peda, a sweet, it is not in front of us. But just by thinking about that peda, okay, you can feel, you can, smell, okay, how does it smell? Then you can feel the softness of that peda, how does it, the texture, how it is. Then you will see the color in front of your eyes. You can get the taste of the peda in mouth. So how do you get this? You had eaten that peda maybe 1 month back or 6 months back. But that knowledge of past, whatever has happened in the past, all that knowledge come running through to you immediately as soon as you think of it. So similarly, when the yogi practices Sanyam on his mental mental formations or samskar, he gains the knowledge of whatever has happened in the past. He knows whatever has happened in the past. 3.19 Pratyayasya Parachitta Jnanam. Pratyasa Parachita Jnana, when the yogi practices Sanyam on the mind of another person, then what happened? He gains the knowledge of the thoughts and feelings within that person's mind. So when a yogi, he practices Sanyam on some other person, whoever is in front of him, then what happens? Here Patanjali Rishi is saying that he gains the knowledge of everything that is there in his mind. He comes to know whatever that person is thinking, whatever is going on in his mind, he understands that. For example, mom knows her kids, whatever, no matter what the child says, mom knows when the other child is lying, when the child is telling the truth. Now, whatever is in the mind, the mother, she knows it. Similarly, pratyasya parachitta jnanam. That means when a yogi practices Sanyam on other person's mind, what is the Vibhuti that he attains? He gains the knowledge of the thoughts and feelings within that person's mind. We'll do this last sutra and we will stop. Na cha tat salambanam tasya vishayi bhutatvat. Na cha tat salambanam. That means, however, the yogi's knowledge of the mental states of another person is devoid of the usual process of perception, because the object of his Sanyam is only the other person's mind, not the external means through which ordinary knowledge arises. Now, what does this mean? That when a yogi practices Sanyam on another yogi's mind, or not yogi, another person's mind, he comes to know what is there in his mind. He gains that knowledge that Patanjali Rishi told in the previous sutras. Okay, that he gains the knowledge of whatever thoughts and feelings are there in the person's mind. But Here he is saying that not the external means through which ordinary knowledge arises. That means he will know what he's thinking, he will know what is going on in his mind, but he will not know the reason behind it. For example, if the now here I've given the example of that also. The yogi perceives the feelings, that is attachment, aversion, all the things that are there in other person's mind, but he will not know toward whom that attachment is, toward whom that anger is, toward whom that aversion is, because the third person's mind is not the subject of a yogi's sayam. So he will know what is going on in the mind of this yogi, but he will not know why, on whom he will not know, why he will not know, because that is not the subject. He does not know toward which object, toward which person that attachment or aversion is. Why? Because it is not the subject of his alamban. It is not the subject of his sayam. Simple as this. With this, we will stop for today.